Right now at 6, Arkansas authorities hunt for a suspect in the deaths of Clinton and Kristen Brink. The couple was attacked while walking their daughters.
And we've got an absolutely beautiful sunrise ahead of one more dangerously hot day before we get a little relief from the heat. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, a Joplin SWAT operation ends safely. The suspect, facing multiple felony charges, surrenders without anyone getting hurt.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Wednesday, July the 30th, and that means tomorrow is the 31st, and it means Friday is August.
Yes,
That's right,
not going to feel like it though, which I'm so happy about.
It is.
I'm
August,
happy about it.
At least the beginning of it, like Elise said here, is it's not going to feel like August, but it doesn't take long for it to heat back up, unfortunately. We'll talk about that a little later, but first let's get your day, or your stay, if you're just visiting, started with a live look from downtown Pittsburgh at that, again, absolutely beautiful sunrise again this morning. I got a few clouds out there just making for fantastic coloring in the sky as we start this Wednesday. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline looking good as well, looking back to the south. And again, one thing we've been following through the morning, and of course we'll continue to follow, keep you updated, is the 8.8 magnitude earthquake on the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia yesterday, triggering a number of strong aftershocks out there as well, and also generating tsunami advisories and tsunami warnings. Right now, there's tsunami advisories Alaska and Hawaii, and then for the lower 48 from the Canadian border all the way down to the Baja of California. So we're talking the entire west coast. However, the northwestern portions of California, of northern California here, these are tsunami warnings that are in place. So from about Eureka up toward Crescent City. So something we'll be keeping an eye on, something that I know these folks are keeping an eye on as the morning progresses. For us, though, again, another day of dangerous heat. These heat advisories were reissued. Not surprised by that at all based on what we're looking at for heat index values today. These will run through 7 this evening. The rest of them run through 8 this evening. And so we're still at heat index values up to 110, putting heat exhaustion likely, heat strokes possible. Of course, check on the elderly, keep the kids safe, keep your pets inside. If you have to work outside, you know it all too well at this point. Stay hydrated, take breaks, watch out for yourself out there. All right, so here's where we start. Noon today, we see the opportunity for an isolated pop-up storm. Now, is there going to be one right over Joplin? It's not a guarantee. With future track and pop-up storms, it's simply signaling to us that they will be possible as early as noon. Initially, they're, of course, quite isolated. They're pop-up storms and slightly better chances east of the 69 corridor. Then we go late this evening and a cold front approaches, so north of the 54 corridor by 8 o'clock this evening, scattered showers and storms. And some of those pop-up storms might try and feed off some of the energy being pulled in from the cold front, so they might try and get a little more organized south of I-44. So that's going to be a wait and see on those. 79 in Joplin right now, 75 in Pittsburgh, so warm indeed across the region. We do have some low 70s out there, but most of us mid and upper 70s as we start our Wednesday. And here we are. We've got mid 80s by 9, mid 90s by noon, 99 to 100 for our highs today. Isolated pop-up storms, southwest winds 5 to 10. As you saw later this evening, shower and thunderstorm chances begin to increase with that cold front, and our temperatures will begin to decrease across the area. Look at your full forecast coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Thanks. Well, we're going to take a live look now at the Angels Cafe, at a Crawford County Fair tradition that's been serving the community for 25 years. The cafe raises money for Angels Among Us, a nonprofit supporting local cancer patients. Doors open at 6:30 at the fairgrounds in Girard. Now to our local stories. Authorities released a photograph of the person of interest in a double homicide at an Arkansas State Park. Arkansas State Police released this image along with a composite sketch of the suspect. State Police say the suspect is believed to be a white man of medium build who at the time was wearing dark pants, a long-sleeved shirt with sleeves rolled up, a baseball cap, sunglasses, and fingerless gloves. He is also believed to be driving a black 4-door sedan. The description came from witnesses inside the park. Police in Arkansas are searching for the suspect in connection to the deaths of Clinton and Kristen Brink, a couple who investigators said were attacked while on a wooded walking trail with their 2 young daughters. The attack happened on Saturday. Authorities say the couple died protecting their children. All trails at Devil's Den State Park in Washington County, Arkansas, remain closed as the investigation continues. The victims' bodies were sent to the Arkansas State Crime Lab to determine the official cause and manner of death. Anyone with information should contact the Arkansas State Police. A woman is recovering after an early morning incident in Joplin. Yesterday, emergency crews responded to a home on North Sargent Avenue. The woman was taken to a hospital with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Police taped off the area as they investigated the scene. You can check for updates on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, Joplin police SWAT team surrounded a residence on East Valley Street last night after obtaining a search warrant. Officers deployed gas into the home around 9:45 p.m. when the suspect surrendered through a back door with a towel over his head. No injuries were reported in the operation. Joplin Fire Department crews responded to Hill Street to ventilate the residence with fans following the operation. The arrest concludes the search for the suspect who faces multiple felony charges. Well, a Joplin man is dead after his motorcycle crashes through a T intersection in Newton County. A farmer discovered the 22-year-old's body and his BMW motorcycle in a field east of Aspen and Martin Roads yesterday morning. The crash happened a day and a half earlier when no one had heard from the victim since Sunday. The motorcycle traveled 150 feet into the field after crashing through the fence. Newton County Coroner Dale Owen pronounced the man dead at the scene. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Missouri Supreme Court rules counties cannot impose an additional sales tax on recreational marijuana within incorporated cities. In November, Jasper County leaders spoke to KOAM about who had the right to tax the approved 3% sales tax on recreational marijuana. KOAM's Lonnie Walton learned it could save Missouri taxpayers $3 million every month.
Just maintain a cool, calm, and collected demeanor. So I need that throughout the day for sure.
San Antonio Davis is the regional manager of Green Relief Dispensary in Nevada. He said he's been a cannabis user for years. He says he couldn't imagine a world without him and others using it.
Access is going to be the biggest thing here in Missouri for all of us. So making sure that there's a place where you can go get it safely and that it's affordable for you.
That's what a case ruled on by the Missouri Supreme Court is all about. Attorney Eric Walter says previously Missouris were being charged a voter-approved 3% sales tax on marijuana by cities, and that's fine. However, the cities weren't the only ones taxing buyers.
So that meant that the tax rate was in the neighborhood of 17 or 18% overall, which is a lot. But then the counties were coming to those same dispensaries within incorporated areas and saying, well, you need to collect ours as well.
Walter says that's why he decided to fight for how government can levy taxes on marijuana for incorporated areas.
Yes, the Constitution does contemplate a local government definition that says it's either an incorporated city, town, or village that is local government and who gets to impose that tax, or it's a county, meaning the dispensary is situated in an unincorporated area. And so that's the key part is, where is the dispensary situated?
Walter says he hopes this law will help keep consumers law-abiding citizens.
At least we won't have consumers, I hope, or worry, I guess, leaving the industry and turning to illicit sources.
For Missourians specifically, it's going to be great for us because that's going to keep all of our dollars here in Missouri.
Reporting in Nevada, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
There are still questions about what will happen to the money already collected by counties and a timeline for when they must stop collecting. We spoke with the Jasper County clerk about the issue. He says Jasper County has been collecting the tax in incorporated areas, but has set the money aside for now. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Tsunami waves detected in Japan after an 8.8 earthquake off Russia. Now Hawaii and the West Coast brace for potentially dangerous swells. Plus, the Naked Gun reboot hits theaters Friday with Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson while fans honor the late Ozzy Osbourne in Birmingham. And high temperatures continue with some rain chances. Chris will return with another look at your forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now 6:09. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Crawford County Fairgrounds in Girard, Kansas. Topping Nation Watch, an 8.8 magnitude earthquake hit off Russia's coast last night, one of the strongest quakes ever recorded and the highest magnitude since 2011. The earthquake triggered a tsunami in the northern Pacific and warnings and advisories in Alaska, Hawaii, and other coastal areas around the world. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill has more from New York.
In Honolulu, a scramble to seek higher ground. Waves crashed on empty beaches as warnings echoed.
The roads are full, people trying to move. We ask you to stay calm, cooperate, and get to high ground.
We decided to go to elevated ground, and it's kind of just where it's taken us so far. We've passed a couple other gas stations that you can't even get in them.
Tsunami warnings and alerts were issued from Hawaii to the entire west coast of the U.S. after an 8.8 magnitude earthquake hit off Russia. Officials warned waves could reach up to 10 feet, prompting boats to head out to sea.
So far, we have not seen a wave of consequence, which is great relief to us.
Hours earlier, a tsunami more than a foot high was detected in over a dozen parts of Japan. Officials warned bigger waves are possible. Some people sought safety on the tops of buildings. The massive earthquake that triggered the waves shook furniture in far eastern Russia. Emergency responders rushed to a damaged kindergarten after the front of the building collapsed. No children were reportedly inside. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Now, so far, there are no reports of injuries from the earthquake. Strong aftershocks have also been recorded. Well, still to come, Freeman Health Auxiliary members make a difference. Their $8,000 donation helps create a home-like atmosphere at Joplin's Turnaround Ranch. Plus, Chris returns with another look at your Wednesday forecast. We'll be right back. Well, a final farewell to a heavy metal icon, and Liam Neeson brings his special set of comedic skills to the big screen in The Naked Gun. Christian Benavides has your Eye on Entertainment report.
Action star Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson are bringing down the house in the reboot of the beloved cop comedy The Naked Gun.
I'll find them. This is what I do.
Neeson stars as Detective Frank Drebin Jr. in the remake, the son of Leslie Nielsen's character from the first 3 films, to lead the police squad and save the world.
It's lovely to celebrate the movie and for people to go back to cinema again.
Producer Seth MacFarlane hit the red carpet for the film's premiere this week, along with other stars.
Liam Neeson is really the only actor alive in 2020 who is there's so much gravitas that from anyone else would be too much, but from him it's earnest and sincere.
The Naked Gun hits theaters nationwide Friday. R&B sensation Ciara is now a citizen of Benin. A recent law passed in the small West African country grants citizenship to descendants of enslaved people. It's also part of an initiative to help promote tourism. The Grammy Award winner is one of the first public figures to earn the citizenship there, which came during a special ceremony over the weekend. And fans of the late Ozzy Osbourne are paying their final respects to the heavy metal icon. The hearse carrying his body is making its way through his hometown of Birmingham, England today, ahead of a private funeral. The Prince of Darkness and frontman of Black Sabbath died last week. He was 76 years old. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Let's take it over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Got a few clouds out there to start our day this morning. Another day of dangerous heat. However, relief right around the corner. Another look at your forecast when we come back. Time now, 6:19. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:21 now on this Wednesday morning. We are starting with our severe weather outlook map here because we do have, as we discussed yesterday, a level 1 out of 5 risk for maybe some isolated strong storms and really maybe 1 or 2 that could clip our far northeastern counties later this evening. If we see any in our area, the biggest concern here is for the potential for some damaging wind gusts, but you can see that risk area is fairly narrow. So what are we looking at in terms of our storms? Well, a little bit of everything, kind of a kitchen sink kind of day with everything that's going to take place today. Initially, as early as noon, we start with the opportunity for isolated pop-up storms. That's how we'll start this event, is isolated pop-up storms, kind of here, there, wherever. Better chances east of 69, but of course the nature of pop-up storms, they could be anywhere. As we go later into the evening, pop-up storms, there's a few more of them now, especially east of 69. And what's going to happen here, and this is why the pop-up storms become a little more important in their role today than usual, as the cold front approaches, it brings in warm, moist air, a little more energy ahead of it. So some of these pop-up storms might try and organize into actual full-on thunderstorms. It'll be a little bigger, a little more coverage to them. This is our window from 7 o'clock through about maybe 9, where 1 or 2 of these storms here could clip our northeastern counties and be strong to low-grade severe. As the front approaches, by 8, we're getting more scattered storms along and north of the 54 corridor. And by 9, 10 o'clock, we've got a nice organized line of storms. And again, we're not anticipating any kind of severe weather with this activity. You just saw a severe weather outlook. Could one of these storms get a little loud? Absolutely. I'd say that's not out of the realm of possibility, because there's going to be quite a bit of energy for these storms. So we'll have an organized line back behind everything. Ahead of it, some of those pop-up storms have now turned into actual scattered storms out ahead of this by 10 o'clock. As we go a little later into the into the evening and early tomorrow morning, the first batch of storms that we saw looks to try and make it as far east as the I-49 corridor before it dies out. Then we get new storm development now ahead of the boundary right through here. So we're talking Bartlesville, Coffeyville, Fredonia, Parsons, Chanute, maybe up toward Fort Scott. That's where we'll see another round of scattered storms. These will roll to the east. Some of them may die out again as they push further east, leaving just some showers and a few isolated storms. But then back behind it by 5, we have new development of additional thunderstorms from Kansas down into northeastern Oklahoma. These storms will continue through the morning, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. We still have scattered storms. So now we have this batch rolling through, now moving into the Missouri side of things, and then a few more scattered storms possible back behind that. And so we'll deal with some scattered shower thunderstorm activity through the first half of our Thursday. Will everybody get rain during the first part of Thursday? Not necessarily, but some of us will have some scattered showers and storms to take an eye on and just to be aware of. Again, not anticipating any severe weather with this activity, but we'll definitely have thunderstorms, definitely have the lightning. And as we talked about 100 times, the lightning is still dangerous, can still be deadly if you're not taking precautions with lightning. As we roll into the early afternoon hours, that will slide on out of here. We'll have a north or northeasterly breeze. We'll also have mostly cloudy skies that will continue from Thursday afternoon and to Friday. Today, at least the last day for the next several days, that we're going to have to look at this. Yeah, heat index values again today up to 110, and then of course we start to get the big improvements as we head behind this cold front. Heat advisories here, and here through 8 this evening. And then for this portion of southeast Kansas, they'll run through 7 this evening. A reminder, of course, KOAMNewsNow.com on our forecast page. We've got all these nice graphics, a lot of great heat safety tips, and never a bad idea to refresh yourself out there on things you need to know in order to keep yourself, your friends, your family, your pets all safe. Sunrise looks great. Again, few clouds out there. There were some storms to our north that's generated a few more clouds out there on the horizon as well. Below 80s to start the day and around the low 90s by 11 o'clock this morning. It's one of our hotter days so far as well, as we go upper 90s, so about 99, maybe 100 for our highs today. Pop-up storm chances, southwest winds 5 to 10. And then, as I mentioned, we'll start to have scattered storms after about 7 o'clock this evening. Still somewhat mild, depending on where you are in relation to the front. If you're ahead of it, still somewhat warm by 10. If you're behind it by 10, maybe a little cooler. Look at these lows, though. Low 70s tonight, a lot closer to normal out there for us. And then take a look at tomorrow. We're talking nearly a 15-degree drop for many of us in our high temperatures just tomorrow. And they drop a little further Friday, Saturday, low mid-80s. Now, Sunday and Monday, we do get to be seasonably hot out there, upper 80s, low 90s. Unfortunately, this summer heat and the potential for dangerous heat will return by the second half of next week. So get out there, enjoy this weekend, because it will not last long. That's checking your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, eating ultra-processed food may raise your risk for lung cancer. Research published in the journal Thorax looked at the health impact of ultra-processed foods like lunch meat, ice cream, fried foods, bread, breakfast cereals, and soft drinks. People who ate the most ultra-processed foods were 41% more likely to be diagnosed with lung cancer compared to people who avoided ultra-processed foods. Well, artificial intelligence, or AI, can improve the accuracy of breast cancer screenings. A new study published by the Radiological Society of North America found an AI algorithm used in 3D mammography correctly identified nearly a third of cancers that were previously undetected. However, the study's author says it's important AI only be used as a second set of eyes in addition to a radiologist. And using a fan on a hot summer day may not always be a good idea. A study published in JAMA found when it's extremely hot and dry with temperatures above 110 degrees, using a fan can actually raise body temperature and even triple the cardiac strain for older adults. However, when the humidity is high, a fan can help lower your body temperature. Well, Freeman Health System recognizes its auxiliary members for a recent donation benefiting the Ozark Center Turnaround Ranch in Joplin. Volunteers raised $8,000 to furnish the facility's newly renovated Family Life Center. The donation also funded picnic tables and benches near the ranch's new duck pond. Staff say the upgrades help create a more home-like environment for teens and families going through recovery.
Young people come from a variety of backgrounds, have unique and special needs, and we have to tailor them for those children. And we can do it through the schools, we can do it through the churches, we can do it through organizations throughout the community.
The ranch serves around 100 adolescents facing emotional and behavioral challenges. Well, Mercy Hospital releases statistics showing an increase in pedestrian and vehicle-related accidents. KOAM's Ty Parks has the story.
The weather and sidewalk improvements have made it easier for people to walk from place to place.
We believe it's because people are walking more, which is great, and we've done so many nice things in Joplin to make this town more walkable, but we are seeing a lot more traffic, and you combine that with heat and tempers and things like that, and we know there's a lot of distractibility. We believe that's contributing.
Mercy Hospital says that since 2023, there have been 223% increase in pedestrian automobile accidents. The level of trauma from these accidents can have a wide range.
It can range from a variety of things. You can be tapped by a car and take you off guard, or you can be run completely over. If somebody gets run over, they can have pelvic fractures, they can have aortic tears, they can have all kinds of things are important in this area.
Staying aware of your surroundings is the best way to avoid being hit by a vehicle.
We teach defensive driving. We need to be teaching defensive walking. We need to make sure that everyone understands that that person in the parking lot may not see you. You need to be making eye contact before you step in front of a vehicle, even if you think they're waving you through. So that's one thing. Another thing that I've noticed is you look left and right when you go across the street. When you are at a busy intersection, people don't think about that person that's approaching from behind that's going to turn right on red.
We reached out to Joplin Police Department, and they say they have seen a decrease in the number of pedestrian and vehicle accidents.
We serve a very, very broad area, but typically it is in a downtown area where you've got lots of crosswalks and you've got maybe slower moving traffic, and the impression is that that person's coming slow. And so not just downtown Joplin, we serve all different communities, but it always tends to be on a city road that has a light.
In Joplin, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Now, to prevent accidents, drivers should prioritize safety by avoiding distractions, obeying traffic laws, and being mindful of pedestrians at all times. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, mowing the lawn becomes a multi-day challenge for diabetics in extreme heat. The emergency kit and safety tips that could save your life.
And we've got a nice looking sunrise, a few clouds out there this morning, another dangerously hot day with relief on the way. Look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, Fort Scott showcases some new signs to highlight the city's history.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:34. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Wednesday, July the 30th, August, right around the corner. Of course, as that ad just before mentioned, back to school right around the corner as well.
It certainly is. Man. It always sneaks up.
It certainly does. And it doesn't matter how fancy the little banners are in the stores, man. It still gives you that. When you're a kid, you get that little sinking feeling. You're like, here we go. It's been summer wasn't long enough. And unfortunately, the last couple of weeks, a lot of kids haven't been able to enjoy it. Like on the weekends, I've had my kids out. They like to run and play. They've been out like from 10 a.m. to noon, and then that's it because it's just too hot after that to be outside. But we do have a little relief on the way. We are going to start our Wednesday with our traditional live look from downtown Pittsburgh. And there it is. It looks quite nice. We have some clouds. Why? Well, we have some storms up to our north. And those storms, they are what showed up on Future Track yesterday, but they're not expected to make it into our area. But they are generating a few extra clouds out there. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking to the south. Skies to the south are pretty darn clear at this point. It's to the north where we've got some of those clouds. Now, as we mentioned, in the Petropavlovsk, Kamchatka region of Russia, I figured I could get that right. Last night, there was an 8.8 magnitude earthquake. These are all the aftershocks as well that have been reported. All of them right here in that middle zone or a little higher. Some of them are 6 magnitude. So that's generated tsunami advisories for Alaska, Hawaii, and virtually the entire west coast from the Baja up to the Canadian border. And we still have some tsunami warnings, but they've been narrowed. So that's some good news. They did reach down just south of Eureka, California, but now they've been narrowed right around the Crescent City area. And as a matter of fact, anybody who's familiar with the area, maybe you have friends, family out there, we're talking from Humboldt, Del Norte line to the Oregon-California border. So just keeping an eye on that. We'll keep you updated on this, but some good news there, at least that warning has been narrowed, parts of northwestern California. All right, for us though, heat advisories not narrowed, not at least today. For parts of southeast Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, they run through 8, and then these, which again, I'm not surprised they were reissued, they'll run through 7 this evening, and then hopefully for a few days, it's the last time we're going to have to talk about this. Just for a few days, though. But heat index values up to 110. Heat exhaustion likely, heat stroke possible out there. On to the future track we go. By noon, some pop-up storm chances. Remember on future track, this is not a guarantee that Joplin, you're going to see a shower or storm right at noon today. It's the future track saying that as early as noon, we could see some pop-up storms out there. Slightly better chances because they'll still be fairly isolated, as you can see, east of 69. That as we head later to the evening, a cold front approaches from the north, and here come more scattered storms north of the 54 corridor by about 8 o'clock tonight. Some of the pop-up storms might even organize into thunderstorms, like bigger thunderstorms, with some more scattered storms late this evening across southeast Kansas. We'll go over those details with you here a little later. 79 Joplin, 75 in Pittsburgh. We do have some low 70s out there, which is a nice change for at least a few of us, but the majority of our region still mid to upper 70s to start the day. 86 by 9 o'clock, mid 90s by noon, 99 to 100 for our highs today. Pop-up storm chances, heat index values to 110, southwest winds 5 to 10. As I mentioned, the thunderstorms start building in tonight with that cold front continuing to tomorrow, and our temperatures will drop. We'll go over all those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. We'll see you in just a bit. We're going to take a live look now at the Angels Cafe, a Crawford County fair tradition that's been serving the community for 25 years. The cafe raises money for Angels Among Us, a nonprofit supporting local cancer patients. Doors open at 6:30 at the fairgrounds in Girard. The Joplin Bookstore is hoping to encourage the next generation of readers by supporting teachers. Always Buying Books traditionally holds a back-to-school sale on 3 weekends in August, offering a 50% sale on children and teen books. This year, the store is holding an Adopt a Teacher program with hopes to raise at least $2,000 to help reduce prices even more for teachers. The store owner says every year he sees teachers using their own money to buy classroom books. He says he wants to help support their efforts to get books to children.
Anything in the news or whatever, it's not good. It's always the bad teacher who gets all the credit, all the print. So for every bad teacher, my gosh, there's tens of thousands of great teachers spending their own money buying books for your kids or your grandkids.
If you're interested, donations can be made in store or via mail. You can learn more about the Adopt a Teacher program and how to help on our website, koamnewsnow.com. Well, new signs coming to Fort Scott will help showcase the town's history. The Wayman Chapel African Methodist Episcopal Church Commemorative Park is the site of the installation of a series of informational signs. The historic site was once home to the oldest black church in Fort Scott and was often attended by filmmaker Gordon Parks. It was even featured in Parks' film The Learning Tree. Now the property is a commemorative park, hoping to honor the legacy of the church's role in the local black community and highlight its rich history.
We want to be able to keep the history alive for others to see and learn for generations to come. And this is a wonderful way we felt to give honor and tribute for that. And that's a way that people can learn more about the history of the church and the connections along with Fort Scott.
The commemorative project was made possible with support from community organizations like Bourbon County Historical Association, Fort Scott Community College Foundation, and the Gordon Parks Museum. And let's look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. New tariffs take effect Friday. Researchers warn companies with slim profits could face layoffs or planned closures as costs rise up to 50%. Plus, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin proposes historic deregulation, revoking the agency's finding that 6 greenhouse gases must be regulated for public health. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News at 6:40. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from the Crawford County Fair in Girard, Kansas. In Consumer Watch, increased tariffs could push up factory cost 2 to 4.5%, according to an analysis from the Washington Center for Equitable Growth. The research behind the report says companies with slim profit margins could resort to layoffs or even closures of plants. Higher tariffs ranging from 15 to 50% are set to take effect Friday on goods from dozens of countries. The Environmental Protection Agency has proposed to revoke an endangerment finding it published 16 years ago that found 6 greenhouse gases are a threat to public health and must be regulated under the Clean Air Act. Administrator Lee Zeldin calls it the largest deregulatory action in U.S. history. The EPA has issued the finding to regulate sources of climate change causing pollution. The proposal must go through a long review process before it is finalized and is likely to face challenges from environmental groups. And no need to head to Italy this summer if you want a taste of Italian desserts. Krispy Kreme is unveiling a passport to Italy donut collection. The 3 sweet treats are the tiramisu-inspired, cannoli-inspired, and Limon Delight donuts. And that's a look at Consumer Watch this morning. Here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're taking a look for the MoDOT camera from 20th and Rangeline in Joplin. We are looking pretty good. Got some clouds out there. Another day of dangerous heat, though, for us before big changes arrive thanks to a cold front later this evening. We'll have a complete look at your forecast, break down our storm chances and those cooler temperatures when the KOAM Morning News returns. Another look at birthdays and anniversaries as well. Time now, 6:44. All right, time now for some Wednesday birthdays and anniversaries in the 4 states, and we're going to start with James Buchanan in Jasper, celebrating birthday number 44. Happy birthday.
And a happy 65th birthday to Scott Hohenschel in Carthage.
And in Columbus, Mary Jane Parmalee, celebrating another year wiser, says happy birthday from all of your family.
And our senior marketing consultant here at KOAM also celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to Jim Marquardt.
Be sure to see Jim for all of your advertising needs. Our list does continue with Barbara Beard in Columbus celebrating birthday number 71. Happy birthday.
And a happy anniversary to Russell and Michelle Busk.
All right, that is a good list of birthdays and anniversaries. We want every list to be great, though, and if you would like to celebrate your loved one's special occasion with us, Elise has information you need to know.
Yes, please submit your birthdays and those anniversaries to birthdays@koamnewsnow.com. Be sure to include photos and messages to, of course, meet the deadline at the bottom of your screen, and to also please include the date of your celebration as well.
Of course, very important information there. We've got some weather to talk about. We talked about it yesterday. Today's a big day of changes. There's a lot going on. It's almost like a kitchen sink kind of day where we're getting a little bit of everything except snow. And honestly, at this point, I don't know that anybody'd really complain about snow. They'd just probably complain about it going from 100 degrees to like 30 degrees, and that would not be good for anything. We do have the chance for an isolated strong storm or two late this evening in our far northeastern counties. We talked about it yesterday. This chance has been fairly consistent over the last few days. It hasn't really expanded in coverage, hasn't gotten any bigger, hasn't gotten any closer to any of our other regions, but we could get some stronger storms with some gusty winds out there later this evening. We're going to show you all that now on the future track. So a lot that is going to happen as we go into the afternoon. First, we start with pop-up storms. It's another day of dangerous heat for us, unfortunately. Again, with pop-up storms on future track, is this a guarantee there will be a storm here on the southeast side of Joplin at noon today? No, it's not. Could it happen that way? It's possible. I've seen future track on occasion get pop-up storm locations pretty darn accurate, but most of the time it's simply throwing this up here to signal to us that as early as noon we could start to see some isolated pop-up storms. Now initially, most of them, if the ones we get, which will be isolated, should be east of 69, but we could get some outside of that. You see these little cloud patches here. We could get little pop-up storms out of that as well as we head into the afternoon and early evening. See, there's a few more of them. Now here's one of the things that's going to be different about our pop-up storm chances as we head into the afternoon and evening. Cold front begins to approach, gets closer to the area 6-7 o'clock this evening. As it does so, it brings in a little more warm, moist air, a little more energy. Okay, and you saw on the severe weather map, we're not expecting any kind of significant severe weather event, but there will be enough energy that some of these pop-up storms might be successful in actually organizing into full-on thunderstorms. Again, not expecting anything severe, but we're talking bigger coverage of rain out of these pop-up storms. They could expand a bit. This is our window for these strong to low-grade severe storms in our far northeastern counties here between about 7 and let's say 8 or 9. We get scattered storms by 7, the front just outside of our area. By 8, it's getting closer. That's why we now have a line of storms. It's a broken line, but it is a line of scattered storms just north of the 54 corridor. So from Eureka, Burlington, back into Lynn County, Bates County, up toward Appleton City. That's where it'll start initially. Then, of course, with our pop-up storms, again, the pop-up storms organizing, it's a big iffy thing. They may do it, they may not, but if they do, we'll see some scattered storms south of I-44 ahead of all of this by about 8. We go to 10 o'clock. Still, some scattered storms building south of I-44, a few along and east of the 69 corridor, and then this line along the front, you see the wind shift line right here, is a little more organized now. So we're talking some actual good thunderstorm activity. Now remember, the lightning's still dangerous, but still not expecting severe weather at this point with this activity, but Yates Center back toward Fredonia, just outside of Chanute, toward Iola. We start getting these storms moving in by 10. We go a little later, about 2 a.m. That first batch of storms expected to kind of fizzle out. And that was the expectation even yesterday on Future Track. Slightly different shapes of the storms, slightly different timing, but still it was going to fizzle out. Then along and ahead of this boundary, because here we go, we start to see new thunderstorm development as early as 1, 2 o'clock in the morning on Thursday across southeast Kansas into parts of northeast Oklahoma. And again, at this time, I want to emphasize that too, at this time, there are no severe risk areas highlighted for the activity outside of what I showed you. All of this is just expected to be at this time general thunderstorms, which is some good news. We don't need any severe weather. We do need some rain. We need some cooler temperatures, and that's what this is going to bring. We head into the afternoon, the early morning hours, getting closer to sunrise. The front continues to push through. We have more scattered storms. The first batch from 2 a.m. starts to die out as it rolls east. New storms develop back behind that. Here we are about 9 o'clock. Still some scattered storms, but they're becoming a bit more confined in their coverage out there, and by noon, even more so as they continue to push to the east with some isolated showers around it. And by, I'd say as early as 2 o'clock, we should be done with most of the rain, maybe a few scattered showers out there, and mostly cloudy skies. And we'll continue with mostly cloudy skies as we head into our Friday as well. Heat index values today, once again, upwards of 105 to 110. But after today, for the next several days at least, shouldn't be that bad, which is some excellent news. Here's our heat advisories that we do have in effect for the region. So for parts of Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, they run through 8 this evening. And the ones that were reissued into southeast Kansas will go through 7 this evening. And then again, same here. Shouldn't have to show you that for a little while. Shouldn't have to remind you about this for a little while as well. But for now, those extreme heat safety tips are on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/forecast. We'll have them up there today. Unfortunately, we'll probably have to bring them back next week, but just make sure you're taking care of yourself, taking care of others out there, just staying up on things. All right, here we go. 8 o'clock, low 80s out there, low 90s by 11. We've got some clouds. What happened is we've got some storms up to our north, barely scraping, looking at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, just barely scraping the far northern edge of Bates County. So not really going to make it into our area, but they have generated a few clouds for us out there. Still very hot, though. As we head into the afternoon, highs today, 99, 100 degrees easy. We'll have pop-up storm chances, otherwise partly cloudy, southwest winds 5 to 10. As we head into the evening, we're going to fall back. Now, depending on where you are in relation to the front, your temperatures may fall back a little quicker as you get behind the front, but still low 80s for many of us by 10. Scattered storms continuing. Look at those lows tonight, low 70s out there. And as we head into the next several days, looks great. We're almost 15 degrees cooler tomorrow than we are today. Mid 80s out there. Low to mid 80s Friday, Saturday. Seasonably hot here for Sunday and Monday. Pop-up storm chances return Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and unfortunately, by the second half of next week, we have the opportunity for the dangerous heat to make a return. So get out there, enjoy this weekend while you can, because at this time, it doesn't look like it's going to last. That's a check of your forecast. We'll have another look at that forecast, plus your wake-up recap here in just a moment, and when the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14, or if you just hang out with us here on KOAM Plus, we're going to tell you all about an interview we've got, with Wildcat Glades discussing cars or coffee.
Well, this is your Wake Up Recap for July 30th. The top stories to start your day. Joplin Police SWAT team successfully apprehended a suspect last night on East Valley Street. The suspect, now faces multiple charges. The 22-year-old Joplin man has died after his motorcycle crashed through a T intersection in Newton County. His body and BMW motorcycle were found yesterday morning in a field east of Aspen and Martin Roads. And a woman is recovering after being shot yesterday morning in Joplin. Around 5 a.m., emergency crews responded to a home on North Sargent Avenue. The woman is now in stable condition and was hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. That's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And of course...